So, Dirty Girls, it is Tuesday night, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, and you know where we are and what we're doing. We are here for Training Tuesday. And tonight's topic is all about leadership and success and the one thing, the just one thing. And I promised you that in the promotions for tonight and everything, in the emails that I sent, that there truly is just one thing you need for spectacular success, for truly being the kind of leader you want to be. And I am going to take you on that journey around to what that one thing is. But I also want us to talk about the why and the how. The why and the how of where we got where we are right now. So I want to share what is a really common scenario that I run into with my clients. So with every client that I work with, we start our engagement with, there's a couple of core foundational exercises that we start with. And it's all part of my Lotus framework as we work with women on stepping through their journey of accelerating their career. And the one exercise in particular is the North Star exercise. And honestly, the majority of women I work with struggle with this exercise. And we do because that's why we're working together, because this part of it is often what is the struggle. The North Star exercise is where I ask you to tell me, right, to describe where do you want to be in 5 years and what does your life look like in 10 years and beyond. And what we're really trying to get to in this exercise is looking at what is that life you want to create. Aside from what's the job title you want to have, where and where are you in your career, how much money you're making, but also what does your life look like? Who's in your life at this time, right? What are you doing in your free time, right? So the North Star exercise asks you to look at what's happening right now. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? And what do you think I get the most out of this exercise? I typically get the next job title up, maybe a new car, maybe a vacation to Hawaii. I get the small thinking, like literally the next step up from exactly where you are today. And so we sit down when we're going through this exercise, and I have to ask, is that really all you want? Is that all you want from your life, is to get to that next job title, maybe upgrade your car, maybe go on a family vacation? Is that the impact that you want to have on the world? And so I had put in the post for tonight's training a quote that one of my coaches told me that I'm pretty sure she got from another coach, which was, the size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. So a core part of that North Star exercise is us getting real about, what do you believe? What do you believe? So wherever that quote originated, the size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. Wherever it originated, what I do know is it's true. We can only go as far as we envision for ourselves. So tonight is going to be a working session. So I want you to grab pen and paper, pencil and paper, or open a Word doc on your screen, or open a text thing on your phone, however you like to take notes. The important thing is take notes, because this is going to be a mini workshop, and you're going to have homework, because we're not going to be able to do it all in the mini workshop, but I'm going to describe to you the actions to take to get to this place where that one thing that I've referred to, the one thing you need for success, you're going to be able to access that. So we're going to stop playing small, right? The one thing you need, the unlocking of that secret, right? To be a strong leader, to be successful in your career, it's a journey. It's not a one thing, write this down and boom, tomorrow you are a new leader, new person. That's not how this works. It's a journey. So I want you to buckle up, because you are here in the Dirty Girl community, and this is what we Dirty Girls do. For those of you who are joining for the first time, my name is Natalie Hahn, and I am CEO of Dirty Girls Consulting, and I am your coach. And I'm happy to have you here. We're here every Tuesday night, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time, and we spend what seems to be averaging 30 to 45 minutes on a training topic. Some nights I don't time these, honestly, when I plan them. So some nights will be shorter, some nights will be a little bit longer. But the goal each week is to talk about skills and strategies and mindset around leadership and managing and accelerating your careers, confidence, managing imposter syndrome and that gremlin voice, and truly helping you create the life that you want. So, do you have your pen and paper? I'm first want to be really clear. You're here because you are a rock star. Now, I only work with rock stars, right? If you're part of the Dirty Girl community, and this is the original name of my business, right? Dirty Girls Consulting. You are already an ambitious woman who works hard, who wants more from her life, and who knows life gets messy. And our job in this whole life gets messy thing isn't life gets messy, so let's clean it up, because sometimes you can't, and sometimes you don't have time, and sometimes, frankly, we just don't want to. It is understanding that sometimes we have to work with the mess to get through to our results. And sometimes the mess is actually what helps us get to better results. So we know that there's more that we want from life, and we know that there's more that we want to go after. And this company and my coaching practice exists because I have a framework for helping you get there faster, helping you get there with better results, and helping you achieve that career acceleration and that home life balance, right? That work life balance that you want to have. So we're going to dive in, getting back to that quote. And hello, Miss Jackie. It is great to see you. Getting back to the quote, right? Size of your success is how big can you dream, right? How big can you imagine? So your first homework assignment is to tell me exactly that, right? To write down, tell yourself exactly that. What do you believe? What do you believe about what you are willing to, or what you want to accomplish? What do you believe about what you want to do with your career, with your life? How big are you willing to dream that it can go? Because often when we ask for things, when we say we want things, we ask for the thing that we think is reasonable or realistic rather than what we really want. When is the last time you asked for something and it wasn't what you really wanted, but it was what you thought you could get? When is the last time you apologized for wanting something or for asking for something? When is the last time you felt greedy or selfish for wanting something, for wanting more than you have, for wanting something different? When is the last time you were told or you thought to yourself, be more realistic, start small, don't be so demanding? These are the stories we tell ourselves. And when you think about the last time those thoughts showed up for you, I want you to then think about, what did you do next? When those thoughts showed up of you need to be more realistic, you need to start with baby steps. You shouldn't want so much, you shouldn't be so greedy. What did you do? Did you take an action that says, I'm going to start smaller? I'm going to not ask for the full amount raise I want, but the one that I think they're more likely to give me? Did you push through those thoughts and really go after what you wanted? If you did, good for you. Good for you. But most of us don't. Most of us really do temper back our actions. We temper back what we want, what we say we're going to do, because we're being qualified by that thought. Ooh, knocking my water over. We're being qualified by that thought of we're not being realistic. We're not going to get it anyway. So right there, we've started playing small just by what we thought before anything came out of our mouths. Most of us believe these thoughts, so they guide our actions. If this is the way we choose to act, this is the life we cultivate. What we choose to do, how we choose to think, what we choose to do equals the life that we create. So if I have a desire to be a meditating yogic Buddhist monk, which is something that I have said I would do at some point, then I actually need to start meditating and doing yoga more and practicing that life of being a Buddhist monk or nun, or no, I think they call them nunks now. Nunks was the word that the Buddhist community came up with for the nun and the monk. Gender equality, gender parity, nunk. I need to actually start living that. I need to start making the choice then that I'm going to meditate, not that I'm going to get online and read my email. That I'm going to do yoga and not get on Netflix and watch TV, right? We make those choices. So I have to own it. If I want to be CEO of a multinational corporation, then I have to start making the choices to do those things. More importantly, I have to believe that being the CEO of a multinational corporation is in my future. I have to be the CEO of my own choices and my own life in order to be that CEO of the future that I envision. Because only when I can envision it being real for me do I make the choices that are real for me. Do you see where I'm going with this? Sometimes in making the choices of what we really want, we're going to end up making waves. Are you ready to make some waves? So I want you to put waves in the chat. As always, I didn't say this in the beginning, and I usually do. I much prefer these sessions to be interactive. So I'm glad that Jackie said hi. Hi, Jackie. And I would love for you all to say hello, introduce yourselves, tell me where you are listening in from, and ask questions, share your stories, make comments. But my first question to you is, are you ready to make some waves? Are you, as a dirty girl in this community who's looking to accelerate her career and create a future that she wants, make waves? So I want you to drop the word wave in the chat if you are ready to start owning the life that you want to lead. If you are ready to start owning the career that you want to have. Because right now what we're going to talk about is how you go about wave making. What are you going to do to step into this role that you want, to step into this life that you want to create? We've got Jackie ready to make waves, so we will take it, Miss Jackie. And there's Sue. There we go. All right, so I'm going to give you the second set of exercises. This is 3 parts. All right, this is consider this your wave making part of stepping into this one secret that we're going to get to. Part 1 is, what does your ideal life look like? So paper and pencil, when we're off this call tonight, I want you to journal. Write down, if you don't like the word journaling, I want you to write down, what does your ideal life look like? Not the next practical step of where I could go in my life if I get that next promotion or if I get that new car. I want you to talk about the ideal. What do you imagine your life to be? Your best life, what does that look like? If the word realistic comes up at all in your mind, you are on the wrong track. Realistic does not live here. Realistic is one of the worst words ever. Realistic shouldn't live anywhere. It is a limiting belief. Okay? So, what I want you to journal when you're talking about your ideal life, I want you to use all 5 senses to describe it. How much money are you making? What kind of job do you have? In your ideal, where do you live? What's that house look like? What does it smell like? Who's living there with you? What's that relationship like? What are you eating? What are you drinking? What do you do for fun in your spare time? What's the smell in your house? What's happening? What do you see, feel, taste, touch, hear in this ideal future of yours? What is it? I want you to use all your senses to describe it. This is what it is. And if you look back at that and you are looking at just getting to the next step, you are not dreaming big enough. Bigger, bigger. Go back to the 5-year-old you who had no idea that life had limitations. What did you want to be when you grow up? Forget realistic. What did you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be now when you grow up? I still have visions of what I want to be when I grow up, and I'm 52 this month. We don't stop growing, and I don't know that we ever grow up. So, first part of the exercise is describe your ideal life using all your senses. Big. Go big. Part 2, right? Part 2. I said this is a 3-part exercise. That's part 1. You're going to take some time and you're going to describe that. And that should at least be a page and a half, by the way. Like, get into the details. So part 2 is, now I want you to take a breath and assume it's all real. It all happened. Everything you just wrote about in your ideal future is happening now. It's happening right now. Your life is truly that magnificent. It is that grand. So, you're living the life, and your next step is you're going to write a diary entry. A day in the life of your ideal life. A day in the life, yeah. What did you eat that day? What did you drink? Where did you go? Who did you talk to? Who were you hanging out with? What were you working on? What sort of impact did you have on people around you? I want you to write this in the present tense. I am living my dream life right now. I'm living on that private island. I have my private jet just sitting 2 miles away at my private airfield. I am sipping my fruity drinks with the little umbrellas in it, brought to me by my pool boy Manuel. Yes, I know that's sexist. I said it anyway. I am living my dream life, whatever that is. Write your diary entry for that as you are living it. Whatever that life is. Maybe you're in the cabin in the mountains. Maybe you're in a city condo. Whatever the dream is, write the diary entry today of, dear diary, dear me, dear universe. I don't care how you start it. But I want you to describe your perfect day. Not even a perfect day, your average day in your ideal life. Present tense. Okay, that's exercise 2. If we can't imagine it, we can't make it happen. So the whole point of you using your 5 senses to first draw the picture of what the life is and then live in it is so that you have a concrete, very detailed visual image of where you actually want to go, of what you actually want to achieve in this life. Okay, that's part 2. Part 3. Part 3 is the part we can't escape. We can't escape it because we're human, because our brain goes here. So part 3 is worst case scenario. What is the worst case scenario? What is the worry on your mind? Because here's the thing. We want to detail out our worries and look at them in the cold light of day. Look at all your worries. And we want to figure out, just how scary is this? I've had 2 calls in the last 3 days with clients where one is on the job hunt. Most of the people I'm working with right now are on a job hunt, but one is on the job hunt and a little bit panicky about the next job, getting it as fast as possible. And we went through, what's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is she doesn't find a job right away. So what if it took 3 months to find a job? Well, I have severance, that's covered. What if it took 6 months to find a job? Well, my husband works, so that's covered. So really, is worst case scenario of not finding a job in the next 2 weeks so bad? No. We want to look at our worst case scenario up close and in all its warty, knotty detail, and we want to start poking holes at it. The reason we want to do this is because our brains are wired. They're wired to latch on to whatever we perceive as a threat. And when we latch on, whatever we latch onto in our heads, we make a priority. And when we make it a priority, what happens? Whatever we make our priority, we make happen. We make it real. So we want to pay attention to where our focus is. If our focus is more on our lack of money than our ability to earn money or make money, guess what happens? We get stuck in a lack of money. If our focus is more on all the reasons why we're not going to get that job, not going to get that promotion, then we're draining all of our energy in the negative and we're using none of our energy for the positive, which is, I have this job in the bag. Because you walk into an interview with the confidence of, I have this job in the bag, it's very different than the energy of, oh my God, I need this job. Please, please, please hire me. So, part 3 of this exercise is detail out your worst case scenario. You may have more than one. but I want you to detail them out, not to make them bloom and become a priority, because the next step in this is to break them down. Go through each worst case scenario and break it down. How real is it? How real is the fear? What's the true fear behind the fear? If this were to happen, what would you do? Because you know what is, think about this, what is scarier? What is more scarier for a child than the thought of getting a shot at the doctor's office? Little kids terrified of the idea of the shot, right? It's the thought of it. It's the anticipation of it. And once they're there, it's a big fat, oh, that was it. And they might even scream bloody hell for a minute or two, but then they're done, because the reality of it was nothing like the anticipation. It is the same thing as adults that we do when we have to have a hard conversation, right? I have to have this difficult conversation with an employee and give them negative feedback. I have to put somebody on a performance plan. I have to go dump my boyfriend. I have to go tell my best friend what she did was a really crappy thing, right? The anticipation of those hard conversations, what do? We stress, we build it up in our brains. We worry about all the possible negative outcomes. And that is far more stress on us, mentally, physically, and emotionally, than just having the conversation. We have spent all of this energy on 10,000 different scenarios that never even happened. Right? So, what would happen if you worried less? Yeah, and I know what that feels like. That's like saying, stop worrying, is like saying, calm down. Because we all calm down when somebody tells us to calm down, right? It's like when my kids were little and my ex would get mad at them, he'd tell them, stop crying. And I would always say, that's not going to work. Yelling at them to stop crying isn't going to get them to suddenly stop crying, right? Somebody telling an angry woman to calm down isn't really going to get her to calm down. But what is? What is going to get the kid to stop crying? What is going to get an angry person to calm down? What is going to get us to stop worrying? Do you know? Put it in the chat if you know. There's one word to describe all that it takes to get us to stop crying, stop worrying, stop stop calming down. No, to calm down. Stop getting agitated. Any idea what that word is? It's a magic pill word. It's not the one thing, by the way, but it is a glorious thing, and it helps us get to the one thing. What makes you stop worrying? What makes you calm down? What makes you stop crying? Magic word. Jackie said patience. Close. Breathe. Yes to both. The word is perspective. Perspective. When we have perspective on a situation, suddenly we see not so scary, not so worrisome, not so agitating, maybe not so traumatic. And perspective does take patience, and it does take breathing. We have to allow ourselves the space to let our rational mind step in and look at the situation and truly figure it out, right? Truly assess where are we at. Our rational mind can pull out all the reasons to tell that gremlin voice in our head that's all in a panic. You do need to calm down. And it lays out the cold, hard evidence. So that little space of perspective helps us shift. So this is what I want you to do with this exercise, right? Write down your worries, get specific about what they are, then take that critical, logical, rational I that we human beings have and break them down. I want you to poke holes into your own stories, because that's what they are. They're stories. We create all these stories about why things are unrealistic, unattainable, why they won't work. I want you to start poking holes in that. So here's the perspective that I want you to remember and why this is important to do. Our brains align our lives with our beliefs, not the other way around. Our brains which determine our thoughts and our actions. Those thoughts and actions make up our life. Okay, it happens in that order. Our brain, I'm trying to figure if there's a cleaner way to say this, our brains align our lives with our beliefs, not the other way around. So it's not, if we believe something, our brain goes, since I believe that, I'm taking the thoughts and the actions to follow out my belief. It's not the other way around. It's not like our life magically happens in some wholly new and different way, and our brain goes, oh, look at that. That's the way it really works. Now I'm going to go shift my thoughts and my actions to go chase that thing. We have to make the shift, and we have to start it here. It doesn't happen to us. It happens because of us. Is that clear? I thought of 14 new ways to try to explain this, and I couldn't come up with a good one. So I'm hoping that you understand what I'm saying here. Drop a Y in the chat, a yes, if it makes sense, right? What's happening here drives our thoughts and our actions, and that's what creates our life. Our life doesn't just unfold, and in response, our brain goes, oh, now I get how this works. We have to make that choice. It's a conscious choice. So we make the choices every day. Every single day, every single choice is what creates our reality. Jackie said, goes back to being, yes, precisely that. We are the ones who are actually in control. Even in those moments where we're looking at our life and thinking, I have no control because there's this environmental situation around my work or around my home, we still have the power of choice. And the choices we make can make a difference in how we show up there. All right. So those 3 exercises, all this, what does this have to do with your leadership excellence and that one thing that makes your life magic? Because the one thing that you need is not more skills, more training, more experience in your career, right? If we're going to focus for a minute just on the career aspect of this, because you have that. If you're one of my clients, you've heard me say this a million times. If you've been on Tracing Tuesday before, you've heard me say it. I talked about in one of the promos for this, right? Your KEIs, your knowledge, your experience, your intuition. You have all that. You have everything you need to be successful. You have everything you need to be the stellar leader you know you can be. You have knowledge. You have been learning since day one. You have been in school. You have been trained. You have experience. You have been out there in the workforce. You've been working with people. You've been in new situations. You've taken the context that the world has presented to you and you've put it in some perspective. And you have intuition. We all have intuition. We all have a gut instinct. We all have our brain working at this subconscious level way faster than our conscious level that gives us that gut reaction that says, I trust this person, I don't trust this person. I think that's a good idea, I think that's a terrible idea. And we know that our gut instinct, it's usually right. So you have your knowledge, your experience, and your intuition. This 3-part formula is all about your success because you can translate your knowledge, experience, and intuition into any job, into any industry, into any career change or career path. You absolutely can. Those 3 things are what's important. And those 3 things help you. They help you stay aligned with your values and your integrity. So if those 3 things aren't working for you right now, if you're sitting back and thinking, my knowledge isn't enough, my experience isn't enough, I have to go get more, my intuition, I don't even trust that, it's been a mess so many times, right? If those things aren't working for you, if they are not wholly supporting you in where you want to go, to that vision that you detailed in that first part of the exercise, then what's missing? I can tell you what's missing is that one true thing. The single key you need to be a successful leader is... Any ideas? Any guesses on what it is I'm talking about that you need? It's not the knowledge, experience, and intuition. Those are I call those the KEIs. They're your KEIs for your KPIs. If you're in corporate and you deal with KPIs, key performance indicators, your knowledge, experience, and intuition, they are your key performance indicators. They are what drive your success. The one true thing you need, the one true thing to keep everything in alignment and in balance for you, confidence, almost, Jackie. Trust. It's trust. And more specifically, it's self-trust. If you aren't trusting yourself to make your own dreams come true, whether that's earning a 6 or a 7-figure income, or owning your own business, or living on that private island, if you don't trust that you can make it happen, it's not going to happen. If you don't trust that your knowledge, your intuition, your experience, and your intuition are enough, if you're not trusting that they can help you get you where you want to go, then you're not going to get there. So it won't matter how many classes you take. It won't matter how many degrees you have, how many training programs you go through. It won't matter how many years in business you have, who your mentor is, what program you've enrolled in, all of that stuff. Whatever you trust yourself to do, whoever you trust yourself to be, that is the reality that you are creating. That is the life that you are building. So I want you to give me a scale, a number, scale of 1 to 10. How much do you trust yourself? How much do you trust yourself? Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I don't trust myself at all, I second guess everything, and 10 being absolutely trust myself, wouldn't ask anybody else's opinion anyway. Scale of 1 to 10, where are you on the trust scale, the self-trust scale? And so I see you wrote courage. So confidence and courage are absolutely, you need that. You need the courage to trust yourself, right? And you need the confidence to trust yourself, to believe that knowledge, experience, and intuition are enough. Because here's what I know. I know, because of where you guys are and of who you are, that each and every one of you have the power to create that life you envision. Every one of you has an idea that you want to make real. You know that you can do more, you know you can be more, you know you can have more impact. I know that because you're here. You're part of this community, right? You're part of the Dirty Girl group. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have the ambition and the drive and the knowledge that there's more out there for you and you need to get it. You have more to do. So let's see. Sue says 4, Jackie's at a 7 or 8. Okay, so I want everybody, do yourself a favor, do these exercises. Do the exercises that I outlined, right? So map out your ideal future, map out your diary entry, use as much detail as you can, and then start looking at what you're putting up as the roadblocks, the realistic vision. Start breaking it down. Once you go through that exercise, I want you to rate yourself on the scale again. Here's the deal. If you are not at a 9 or a 10, then we need to talk. If you are not at a 9 or a 10 that you can absolutely own and drive your best life, and that there is nothing that you can dream of that is too big for you to accomplish, then we need to talk, okay? It is absolutely time for you to show the world the kind of rock star that you are, to live, as my son likes to put it, live your best life, right? But there's no reason why you don't do it. There's no reason why you can't. It is all about making it tangible here so we can figure out the right plan to make it tangible out here. Once we're living it in our head, the rest of it is just figuring out how we make it real. Totally doable. There isn't anything that's totally doable. My daughter went to school for film, and everybody told her when she told them she was going to college for film, oh, what's your backup plan? Because that's a really competitive industry, you know. And she didn't have one. She said, if I create a backup plan, that becomes my plan. So it wasn't about being unrealistic about could she make it in the film industry or not. And as it was, she did switch majors, not because of the lack of realism. She actually switched to an equally hard major. She switched to video games. But it wasn't, her thing wasn't about being unrealistic of could she make it in film or could she make it in video games. She knew she could. She could totally envision herself in that environment. But she also knew that if her path took her in a different direction, which it did, she went from film to video games, was not pre-planned. She knew that she could make that work too and still live the life she wanted to live. Because at the end of the day, she's a storyteller, and that's the life she wanted. She wanted to create and make stories, and she was trying to find the best medium that fit for her. So, however big your dream is, whatever that looks like, it's not too big. And the way that I work with you is to figure out how do we translate that into reality for you. But to do that, you have to be willing to take the steps to get there, which means starting with that 3-part exercise that says, I know what my dreams are. I know what that's going to feel like. And I know what the roadblocks are that are in my way for real and in my way just in my head. And that's what we work through. So if you are lacking clarity on what that dream is in the first place, and sometimes we are because we've put up our roadblocks for so long about thinking big, and we've been told for so long to play small. So if you need some help getting clarity around that, I can help you with that. If you are ready to dig in and actually work through the plan, the framework I have is the Lotus Framework, which is all designed about getting you clarity and getting you accelerated faster through the process to get to your goals. Then we need to talk, and I invite you to type the word dig in the chat below for a Dirty Girl mini dig. That's the 15-minute conversation we're going to have to get to know each other and help you get one step closer to your goal. So here's the thing, because you are all super smart, motivated, ambitious women, you can do this. And you can do this alone, right? You can absolutely do this alone. Working, though, with the coach and a community that supports you does help you get there much faster and with better results. And fun, because you're working with people who have the same drive, the same ambition that you do in a very supportive environment. So, thank you for joining me tonight. Do the homework. Please, for your own sake, whether you drop the word dig in the chat or not, do the homework. It will be eye-opening for you to start exploring where you really want to go in your life. How big do you really want to dream? And then we work on the plan to get you there. So remember, ideal vision, diary entry, like you're already living that ideal vision, and then the worries, the worst case scenarios, and let's break them down. Meanwhile, thank you for joining me for Training Tuesday. Always love hanging out with you guys tonight. If you'd like to have that conversation about either getting clarity on your goals or moving closer to your goals, Sales Free Zone, 15-minute free coaching call. Let's do it. Drop the word dig in the chat. I will reach out to you over Facebook Messenger, and we'll figure out a time to talk. In the meantime, have a fantastic week, Dirty Girls. Thank you for joining.